So welcome back to another reservation key tutorial video, a little technical here again. This time we are making a custom theme for our client to kind of match the look and feel of their website, and I thought I would just take you through this process as I work on it. I've already started it a bit, but there's a little more to do, so I'm going to capture that, and also there's one more we're going to make, so whatever I missed on this first client, we'll go back and get the second client. So anyway, the website for the client is this. It looks very nice and clean. Rounded corners on the photos, some blue, white, just real clean, simple, pretty much. So the idea is when you click reserve, it takes you to a reservation key booking page, which kind of resembles this page. So right now, here is where we have it. We've added the logo at the top. When you click the logo, it's going to take you to the website. In a new tab, I've added a background image, which we got off the website. From here, all we did was just scroll through, find one that we kind of liked, took a screenshot of this section, saved it, and then over in Reservation Key, we just added it to the website message. So I'm just going to quickly review a little bit of that. And then we set the website here. And I'm going to add that now, this logo, to the rest of the messages. This is an important step as well. So you want, on the request confirmation, it'd be good to have the logo at the top as well. That's what people see when they finish their booking process. So save that. And the other thing we're going to want is to put the logo on when they come back to make a payment on the payment page. Not everybody uses this, but I always put it on all three sections. So now we'll go back into the themes section, and I've already added this white 3.0, which is one of our newer themes. I usually put by John so I can keep track of who made it. And then I've applied that to the reservation page down here at the bottom. So that's why this theme now is in use. And what I do as I'm working through this, I'll just kind of look at some colors back and forth to see what else we can do to match the website as much as possible. And on the theme, usually I'll leave everything the same, but then scroll to the very bottom because CSS works from the top down. So anything at the bottom gets picked up and overwrites anything above it. So I'll usually make a section, all the custom changes right here at the bottom. That makes it easy also to copy this to other themes in the future. So far, here's what we have. Affects mostly the colors. I did want to point out how we changed this background image on the header. Also, I use Firefox developer tools a lot to inspect sections. You press F12 in order to get this open. And here we can click on that. You can see this is the header. And here it's set to a background image, which I already uploaded in the theme. So I use this Wheeler 3 and set that as the background image right there on the header section. I know this is technical, not going to be for everybody, but for those that want to dive deeper into this and work on their own, hoping some of this information will be helpful. So scrolling down, I like these photos. In this case, the client actually uploaded large photos, and I'm thinking we should make them go full size here. It's okay to make it wrap, smaller than with the text on the side, but most people are going to be on phones anyway, where they're going to be smaller. So if you're on a big screen, you might as well use the big photos, is kind of my thinking. So to change that, we go back into our theme, scroll up just a tiny bit, and I had a note here. So if using large photos, remove the maximum width. So I'm going to remove the max width, and I'm just going to clean up the margin slightly and just make that just, so that's top, right, bottom, and left. So bottom is going to be 20, everything else set to 0. Save that, refresh. Now we should see large photos everywhere. So this one's large, but since it's not large enough, it's just going to be centered, which is fine. But then down here, we see these are really nice and big, and they take up the whole section. I think that's a nice modern look. We might eventually get rid of this slideshow link, but for now, we're leaving it. So you also can pop these open into our older style slideshow, but most newer systems, you can just change the photos right without having to pop up in a new slideshow. So that looks good. We've already changed the background color of everything to this light blue, which matches the light blue at the header. To do that, we just use the color picker and got the color. So click to copy that, and then went back in the theme and changed that. Most of our colors were set in one spot, so it's really easy. So right here. So this color is setting all of these different titles, everything. The only thing we had to change, because I wanted to use a darker color for the property bar, is we added this property title. A lot of times that property title is hidden, or that whole section is hidden, but in this case, we set it to display block because the client had a lot of information there and a property photo. So here we can see that darker blue color is up here under the property title. And then this is all in the property description. And one more, well, let's see. Probably going to change this background color of the calendar. Possibly leave the green search button. That looks okay. Click search, and then I'll just show what else we have to work with here. But we're getting close to being to where I want this. So we already have the light blue colors here, which is fine. I'm going to come back and change all these pink colors. I think those are pretty ugly for this theme. I'm thinking the green's probably okay. So the only thing I really want to change is this, I don't know, whatever color that is, burgundy. So also the mouse over color on the button. And that color I'm thinking we can make to match this dark blue. So if things are going to be easy, we'll just we'll find wherever this color is in the theme, if I can. Oh. Trying to inspect this area to find this color. So it's this border color right here. So I just copy that color and then go back in the theme. And I'm not sure if it's in this custom section already, but Control F or Control Find. It's definitely, so it's not there, but it's easy to find elsewhere. So in this case, I might just change it everywhere it appears just to make it a lot faster. I could copy all of this and put it down below. But I'm thinking it'd be easier and faster just to change it without having to recopy everything. So the new color that we want to use is this dark blue. I'm just going to sample that, click that to copy it. So now it's in the, just gonna grab it without the hash sign in the memory there. Now I'll go back into the theme, and now all I got to do is go through here, double click everything, and just paste it in. Make sure we don't lose any spaces that we need. So that's going to change that pink color everywhere. And that's it. So now if we click save and then refresh again, we should see that change to dark blue, hopefully. Yeah, there it is. The only thing we need to change would be this mouse over color. So for that, we might want to use, I suppose, the light blue. So let's grab that color again. And then go back into the theme, and now we're just going to look for that. Let's see if we can. It's a little bit tricky to find the state where it's mouse over. Oops, I clicked the wrong. So let's just click that. Now we look over here, and you can say reservations input background color is that. I think I can always put it in here just to test it, and then now we can see that it's there. Yes, I suppose that looks okay. We may want to make it actually just a little bit darker. So this is also a good way to test the color. Just because it seemed a little too faded when we moused over it. Yes, I'm going to go with that color. And now I'll copy that color without the space. And now we got to just find reserve buttons input hover. So I can just do another Control F find reserve buttons input hover. I'm just reading through all this to try to find it. And it looks like that's it right there. So I should just change that without the text, without the space. Save it, and then we go over here, refresh. And there we have it. Looks nice. So one more thing I talked about was changing this calendar color. Let's do the same thing. I'm just going to sample that color. So anywhere that ends with AD1, I'm going to copy that. And then Control Find. So it's all in there, but I may have also changed it already in the bottom. No, I didn't. So it's easier just to do it this way. It's the only place in the entire theme where it's appearing. So all we have to do, just like I did before, is go back and change those places to whatever color we want to make it. And the question now is, what color would look nice? Do we want to use that light blue again? I'm thinking maybe something a little bit different. So let's look back at the client's website and see if there's any other colors we could use. How about this color right here? We haven't used that yet. So I'm going to copy that. Just a little trick just to get rid of the pound sign. Copy that. Go back into the theme, and now we just double click everywhere. As you'll see, the pound sign doesn't get selected when you double click. So that's why I removed the pound sign. And there we go. Save that. Refresh again and see if the calendar changed colors. Pretty nice. And that matches that color. So these little buttons also are a little bit, it'd be nice actually to have that as a hand instead of the arrow. I think the hand makes more sense. And also maybe make those darker. So we'll look at this. DP button. Yep, so there's the DP button. So what we can do is sample that. And I think that looks nice to make it like that. And then maybe we also want the text to be white. So I'm just changing it in the Firefox developer tools just so we can get a feel for what it's going to look like. I also don't think we need a border really. Yeah, maybe it's okay. I guess we'll leave the border. Border radius. I think the border radius could be a lot bigger as well. So I'm going to make that 25, make it more rounded. Finally, what I want to add here is a cursor. Will be a pointer, I believe is the right word. Yep, so that turns it into the pointer of the hand. So that looks good. So what we could do is then copy DP button and then paste it back in. Instead of changing it right here, which we could do it right here, but I kind of like keeping my changes together just so I can also reuse this more easily in the future. So if it's not too much, I'll just paste it in here, but then I'm going to take out everything that I didn't change. So I changed the background color, I believe. I changed the text color. I'm leaving the margin, the border, margin, radius I changed, and I added a cursor. And then I also usually would just, put it all on one line just to make it take less space. And then let's save that. And now we go back, refresh, and see what happens. Yeah, that looks nice. There's still going to go black when we mouse over, which I suppose is okay. I mean, you can spend quite a bit of time doing every detail with all these colors, even this color. But I think those colors are okay. Just depends on the amount of time you have available to really get into it. And we also have the calendar search modes. So, well, before we switch to that, let me fix up the rest of this page. Just look through anything else that we want to fix. I think the more details color is okay. It doesn't match perfect, but like I say, level of detail you want to get into is debatable. But these colors here definitely need to change. Usually I kind of take a theme, like maybe blue theme. So maybe we'll make these light blue. And I'll first test it here just to get a better feel for it. You don't want it the same color, but you could do like maybe a real light blue, like that. And I don't like the RGB format, which is putting in here. So instead, I will just resample it again. And now we go back into the reservation page settings on this one. Click into it. And this is under reservation form, customize, and here it is right here. So we don't need this pink. We'll just paste in that blue. Right. That's okay to leave the hash sound there. Sign. Click save. And let's try reloading this again. And click search. Select a unit. Yeah, that looks a lot better. The final, and another thing is just always check to make sure these look okay. Yeah, those look nice. Those are in a scrollable section, scrollable div, which is nice, especially if you have a really long one. But by default in this new theme, we have it that way. So I'll switch to calendar mode. All the clients use calendar mode. So if this isn't enabled or you're not using it, or maybe you're only using this, then I'll look through here and try to find anything else that needs fixing up. So the first thing I'm noticing is there's a weird problem here. That's because this link is set to white for some reason. But if I go back in the other one, it wasn't set to white. Yeah. So here it's okay. So somehow in this box, the CSS is overriding the links. And here it is, property table cal search A. I think we've had a different spot where this must have come in and got set. So I think we'll just overwrite this. We can do black. Probably we can just remove it, but let's just have a look in the theme again. I know this is going to be a long video, but that's the beauty, I guess, of YouTube. You can switch ahead, you can skip ahead. So I am looking for property table cal search. Probably just going to put it there. Property table cal search. I think we'll just put it here, and I think it'll be okay. And let's just save that and then refresh. Did not work, so I'm going to add an important to it. If you use the keyword important, it will with the exclamation mark, it will override any other CSS that happens to be set somewhere else. And there it worked. Okay, so now we're getting back down to our blue color. It's a little bit, maybe too much blue, but I think it's going to be okay. These are clickable. That's interesting. So this could use a little bit of extra formatting, so maybe we'll work on that also. These should have, the text should be white when you mouse over it instead of all black. That's an interesting issue. But generally, we're pretty close. So let's just, if we select a unit there, that's looking good. So we have a couple things to fix. I usually kind of just work from the top down. This all looks okay. Well, that color is a little bit off as well. Also, I kind of go back and forth with the website just to see if it's still kind of matching close enough. It's okay. Anyhow, so let's, this color is a little too faded also. So with that blue background. So cal head instructions, I think we could make that maybe a little darker. Something like that. Just going to copy that and bring it back into my custom down here. Save it. The problem is I can't remember always if we already put it in our custom, but in this case it's not there. So we will just refresh once more. I change that. Now the only thing here is that I want to change is why these are going to black. I'll forward hover. Should not be black, it should be white. Well, I guess that's the background. Actually, I wanted probably to make the text. Actually, color is the correct keyword. So color is white, and then I just deleted it, but I didn't want to delete it. Leave that as black. Not sure. Okay, well, we have a little bit of work to figure out where that is. It might be easier just to change the background color, honestly. And I think that actually looks just fine. So we are going to try to find, cal back and cal forward, which I think I may have put in here already. No, so cal back, cal forward is all in this section. And the background color, we're looking for the hover right here. So we're just going to change this background color to white. And this, I don't think this was actually getting picked up, but just in case it is, we will change it to black. Save changes and refresh. Yeah, so that's working nicely. We got this fixed up. Colors are good. That green's okay. Everything's there. So the last thing I think I'm going to do on this one, and this blue was already set, but actually matched pretty well. I am going to see if we can do a little bit of work on these pop-ups. And I made it full screen so that I can use the developer tools. And what I'm going to do is get this. So that is more info TD room fraction name. So we go back and do our theme. And that I believe I can just add to this long list that was already using those colors. Just put a comma and then dot because it's a class, this dot, and then save that. And now if we go back into that little pop-up and reload it, okay, so it used it. The only other thing that's a little bit off is probably this size. Let's see if we can find that. Images are always a little bit tricky. So you could set it to 100%. Probably just going to leave that alone because it's a little bit tricky to set. The other thing is I'm not sure why this isn't showing in the exact right spot. What you have to do is try to figure out what containing element it is in, and then use, let's see here, containing element. I don't think this works. I was trying to center it. Maybe we can at least add some margin. 10px. Yes, that kind of adds a little bit of a margin there. Margin. Maybe make it even. We still need to know what container that's in. There it is. So it's in this, which this, which is in this, which is in the more info table. I believe if we do, let's see, more info table A for links. So any links that are in that margin left, we'll do 20 pixels and font dash, I don't remember if that's the right one, font size 12 pixels. Save that. I'm not positive that's going to fix it, but we have a quick look. Okay, good. So it actually did work. So there we go. So I think we'll just leave it, you know, so you can also pop up the larger slideshow. Most people, if it's the system starts with the other mode, they're probably not going to even find the calendar mode, but they might. So it's good to get this at least as good as we can. So I believe this is about it for this first theme. We are going to do one more theme, which I will start in a few minutes, and we'll start more from the beginning on that one so that we can also go back over some of these changes. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back. Well, I just thought of one thing extra I wanted to show is that this is fully responsive. In Firefox Developer Tools, you can actually pick what format. They have a bunch of different options here, just kind of sets different sizes. And then you can have a look and see what it looks like. So if I zoom in to make it a lot bigger, you can get a really good feel for how it looks on a phone. And I think those full width photos work really well. Just doing a quick search, select a room, drops you down to the form. So everything looks really nice. And to get rid of this, developer tools, you can just click over there and that gets us back. The other way to do it is just to drag it smaller, go back to regular zoom. Good. Okay, so we will now switch over to the other project. All right, so continuing, here we have another client that we will be building a custom theme to match the look and feel of this website. Looks like it's has some similar elements as to the last site. Have some yellow buttons, kind of a white background. It's kind of a nice bottom, green there at the very bottom, green at the top. So we'll probably use that green instead of the blue. And we'll probably use this orange for some of the orange yellow for some of the buttons. And maybe this background image for the top. Also using some other background colors here. So that's what I kind of first do to take a look. I also look and see how they are linking to ReservationKey. So right here you can put in a date, and then click check availability. And here we can see this is what their current theme looks like. So they're using the old style, the old style theme, but also calendar mode is their initial version. And they are using these pop-up windows with the photo. And then they also still have it so they can switch the availability search. So I'll see what things look like over there. They've reversed the order here. Usually we have our form show up on the right side. Here we have minimum night stay, so we're going to have to make sure that looks okay. But we're going to keep the form on the same side that it was. Pictures are various sizes. It's best to upload all photos the same sizes, but it looks okay. We can fix that a bit using CSS. So let's get to work on this. So the first step would be to go to themes. I will add in our white 3.0. I usually put by John, and I usually put the date, July 2025. Scroll to the very bottom, and then I will copy in that chunk that I actually saved from the last theme I was using. So the initial text was this. And the edited text from the last theme is this. So I'm going to copy all of the edited one just to make it a little bit faster, I think. Put it right here. I think we will also use those full width photos. Since their photos are large enough, we'll take out the max width. Also make this just have 20 on the bottom. And we'll use it on that reservation page and click save. And then let's get started and see what it looks like. I think I'm going to start with the calendar search mode since that's the one they're using by default here. Probably we don't need this title because I don't think they're using anything there. Text got messed up, so we got to go back and fix that. I'm going to change these colors again, but first we're going to start from the top and work our way down. Probably going to add their logo here at the top. So open up the website. Here's the logo. Sometimes you get lucky, you can just open the image in a new tab, and that works pretty well. So I'm going to save that to my computer and I'll be right back. Okay, so go back into website messages, go into the reservation page header, and we're going to add this logo right here. So I'm going to upload the file. And these are all these different images we've been working on. There it is. Uploaded, and that would be this one. So I'm grabbing the HTML, copy that, add a HTML link so we can link back to their website. href equals, and then we put in the logo, close the link, and copy the website URL. And we like to open that in a new tab. Target equals blank, and then I think the logo is a little too large, so I'm going to put some style just directly here. Equals, let's see, max width will be 200 pixels, which might be too large. We're going to test it, and then width will expand to 100% up to that max width. And I think we'll center all of this, so we'll add a center tag and close center and save. Have a quick look at how that came out. Now 200 actually works pretty well. And it's a white background, so probably I'm just going to get rid of this white background here. It won't quite work, but that's a little more than I want to do is edit that photo. So the next step would be to remove this background color. So we go into our theme, go to the bottom, header. So background color, I think we'll just set that to white, and we're going to take off the background image. I'm just going to put, I'm going to leave it in there in case we ever want to easily add it back in. I just put a question mark, click save, I'll refresh. And that looks okay. A little bit too much space between these two. So we can go back into website messages and maybe just take off this space. That's better. That looks good. I think white works well. Kind of matches their website as well. So this blue color, we're going to change to this light sage color. So press F12, open up our developer tools. First, what I want to do is figure out where this blue color is. So I think it's easy enough. It's anything that ends in DFF should be changed to this green color. Copying that over, go into our theme. I believe I just had it at the very bottom. So we're going to look for DFF, which is right here, and that's setting all of those different titles. and save that. Let's see if that changed things around. Okay, good. That sage looks actually, I think, nicer than the green, than the blue. There, all those titles got changed. We're going to remove this top section, I believe. It's not really necessary. I think it's this one here, property table. I'm going to set that to none. Yep. So property table, I remember we added that in the last one. So here we can just change that to none. Click save. Refresh. That looks nice. So those greens matches the logo. This black should have been changed to white, which I'll forward, and the hover, as you remember, go here, search for that. Hover should have been, this should be black, and this should have been white. It's easy because we just did it and I still remember. Refresh again. That looks good. This calendar now, actually the color works well, so we don't think we need to change anything there. Blue colors probably could be changed, maybe to that same dark green. And those were the DP. I think it was DP button. This one here. Yep, right there. DP button. So now we got to go back in here. The button, search for that. Hover. We're going to say background color. That stage color. Refresh once more. That did not. Okay, so the hover worked. I kind of didn't want that. Undo that. So I think what we wanted was, we don't want the hover, we wanted it the regular color. So background color right here. Refresh that, and now let's see what we got. Still don't have it. All right, I'm going to pause the video so that I can find it. Okay, I forgot we actually had added it here at the bottom. So like I said in the very beginning of this video, CSS, anything at the bottom will override whatever is above it. So that's why. So we should change it and grab this text color. Just change that right there. We already have the border radius set correctly and the cursor. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Okay, what else? We can click on this blue color is not ideal, but so that already got changed since we changed that on the original one. Same with that link, so that looks nice. Let's see if we can find that blue color real quick. So it's coming whenever we mouse over this TD. TD is room listings. So I went back to the theme, search for room listings, and looked for hover, and I believe that's it there. So what we can do just real quick, just to make sure, just change that to something easy. Go back, refresh it. And that must not be it because it did not change it. Only when I see hover. So let's see. It might show somewhere else on here. That might be it there because it's below. It's also there, but there's no hover, so I think we're okay. Yeah, so let's see if I can get back to where we were. I just changed that to yellow, I think. Yeah, right here. So let's just save that, go back, make sure that's the right spot. Yeah, okay, so it is. And it would be nice to also show the cursor correctly when you're out here. And the color that we want to use, let's think about that. Instead of yellow, let's see what else we could do. I usually go like that, and then maybe go a little bit darker. Maybe lighter because it's dark text. Yeah, I'll go with that. So room listings div hover. I think I'm just going to copy the whole thing and put it in my custom to make it easy to keep track of it, also for future use. Undo those changes and put it all the way down here at the bottom. Makes it easy to copy and paste this into other themes in the future. Okay. That looks a lot better. Oh, one thing I did forget was to make the cursor a pointer. So hover, we want to say cursor pointer. Yeah, so now it's the same cursor whether we're on top of the text or just on top of the div box. That looks okay. I definitely want to change the background of these form fields. So let's look at their website. Oh, we talked about using orange more, or yellow. I'm not sure what that color is. First, let's figure out what color might be nice to put on there. Maybe this blue color. Maybe this gray or a lighter version of it. So let's try that. I've copied it into the clipboard, going in here and pasting it in. Actually, that color works pretty nicely. Oops, I messed it up. Okay, well, I still got it in the clipboard, so I just have to go into reservation pages, presentation, form, and then we're going to just change that color. Save changes, refresh. That looks a lot better. One thing, this color at the bottom here isn't really matching the website at all, so let's see if we can change that a little bit. They had a nice dark green, so and that's also another color we could use throughout the site if there's other spots. I think for now, though, I'm just going to copy this color code and then look and see what this is set to. I think it's probably footer. And we'll just change it like that. Copy that. And if I don't already have it in the theme, I'm going to add it just to my custom, like drag and drop, put mine on the top. Custom theme at the very bottom. Do I have one? No, I don't think so. Oh, I do. So I can just change it right here and click save and then refresh. Hopefully that nice dark green is not showing up. Well, I had some custom text at the bottom, but for some reason it's not working. So I'm going to change it here. It's easy to get stuck on things and spend a lot of extra time. So instead, we just are going to have to work with it as is. So we'll change it right here. There, so that changed the color. So I think we're pretty close on this page. That green actually matches pretty well. So maybe we don't even, well, we'll probably, anyway, I will change it orange on this page, I believe. So exactly. We'll fix this up a bit. Interesting, but this green should not have showed on here. So we need to look and figure out where that's coming from. Room details TD table. That's the problem because we added that in. But we don't want it to show on this particular page. I believe we had, this is a little tricky. We're looking to use that color just on the other page. So it's getting picked up right here. So what I sometimes do is just put a number in so I can see it. Click save, then go back, refresh it. And so that fixed it here. But the problem is, I think on the calendar page, it's going to be, well, I think it worked fine. Yeah, so I don't think that's a problem. So I think we'll just leave that off. Okay, good. So what we're going to change now is, like we did on the last theme, just this orange color. We're going to make it into this nice yellowish color to match their system here. So developer tools F12, we're going to inspect it by getting the color, so then we can copy that, go back into our theme, Control F, paste it in. Now anywhere that color changes, we want to change it to this color, which I'm now going to sample. And like I did the little trick before, just get the code and just go through here, double click everywhere, paste it all in. And as I recall, let's see, I think I messed up a space. Yeah, I gotta make sure there's a space there. And I think that's the only places that's showing. And the only thing we're gonna have to do is fix up that hover. So refresh. That looks nice. Actually, the hover color is not bad, but it probably should be an orange color. More details actually matches nicely. Oh, I know what happened. I believe when I took off the room details TD, it changed this to this dark, the original green. Well, let's look at that real quick. About to stop this video because it's getting almost an hour. Let's just look at that once more. And refresh. Yeah, so we wanted to use that lighter color green. But the problem is it's also getting picked up by this table, which we don't want the background to be set at all. There you go. So this table appears within the room description. So I think what we can do is take class of room description and then table and just set that to white. Class dot table, and then that, we'll just copy this to type it, change that to white, and save. And now let's try refreshing. It did not quite work. All right, I see my error. The div of room description does not contain this table. It's actually in the num guests div. So we go back in there and just change that over and refresh. There we go. So that fixed it. And we still got the matching green up there. Now the only thing we're going to change, I think, is this hover color. So instead of that orange, I'm going to just make it a darker orange. So like I did before, we just sample it, then go down, make it a little bit darker. That looks better. Copy that text. And then I'm going to look for a reserve button back in the theme. And hover here. Make sure there's a space there. Click save, and I think that fixes it. Yep, that's perfect. Don't think we put in our dates yet. Calendars look good. Okay, that looks fine. That came up nicely. Just want to always make sure all of those little error messages show up correctly. That's looking good with the backgrounds. Rental agreement. Looking fine. I think we'll leave the green buttons. And price per night, that color looks pretty good too. So, on the big photos, they're looking pretty good. Ideally, they wouldn't go into this tall version, but I guess it doesn't make a huge difference. But I like how they take up the whole space. But that's something the client really would need to fix by just uploading all photos of all the same size. Finally, what I was thinking about that we didn't do yet was finishing up the messages. I already added it to the page header up here, but I didn't put it into the other two, which there's usually 3. Confirmation. And we're going to also close that center tag. And the payment page. There's actually 4. It's always hard to tell, but if you're using all these pages, and you should also have the payment confirmation with the logo. And I'm putting a space up, new paragraph, /center, so that the text is right below the image. And up here, yeah, we see it, we already had a break, so that's why it was working. Good. I think we're just about done with this one. Make sure the logo goes to the right website. Yep, Camp Moose. Colors look good. It works nicely on mobile. Mobile doesn't get quite that narrow, but there you go. Okay, so I think we're done. Hopefully this has been instructional. If you made it this far in the video, that's great. Use this to make your own custom theme or to further tweak whatever theme you're currently using. See you next time. Thanks.